Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate my awesome little 486 laptop here. Got this quite a while ago back in college. 33 megahertz 486 SX, a Toshiba satellite t1910. I used to have the t1910 CS before I got this one, and it had a color screen, but that one died the good death. And so, look at that awesome non-standardized keyboard layout. Look where the control and alt keys are. So our current connections that are made for this thing right now are, we got power. This is a serial console that I'm actually using to control that server and sometimes that network switch. And then we've got this ultimately awesome 16-bit Ethernet card here. If I can get it to come out. Picked this up new in the box at the old computer recycling store. Had been sitting since like 1999. So now we're going to fire it up. Now this has a 100 gigabyte hard drive in it. However, I'm not utilizing all of that because the time it takes, the time it takes to mount that entire file system under Linux takes way too effing long. And that's it complaining that I need to check the file system. But unfortunately, to do that, since this has no recovery mode, I have to get the two floppies that I have and boot it again. So we're going to log in. We're going to get internet. So we're going to... I want to show you my awesome 1200 baud management console on my current firewall. That's right, this is now controlling a modern Linux system at 1200 baud. Which is very cool. But that's not what we're here for. So we're just gonna... Now I need to connect my mouse because this has no form of internal pointing device, as it's a very simple machine. So we're going to use this awesome touchpad that's made for a desktop. And as you can see, it's going to take up our serial port. We're going to start the X window display. Now, web browsing is very rudimentary and not very useful, but I'll demonstrate that. No SSL. I need a website that doesn't use SSL. Shit. Got no fucking clue. Well, we'll browse the local file system then. and I'll show you just how stunning pictures look on this thing. So I just told it to open a picture. And there's a picture of a standard EMD locomotive control stand in a stunning 16 shades of gray. It's beautiful. So as you can tell, this computer does not have much graphics power, I'll tell you that much. It's an interesting machine though. I really like it. I usually take it with me when I go places because it's very useful still, even in its antiquity. It's the same picture on computer. There we go. See. So it's a very interesting screen. And we'll see what other goodies we can find on here that might be interesting. Oh yes, as always, we have a clock. The clock's never set though, because the battery in this computer is shot. So I'm gonna kill X now. This computer is also capable of key-based SSH authentication. We'll demonstrate that verbosely. And now we're into, again, the firewall. Another thing to note, this has no brightness, only a single contrast adjustment. So, it is a very interesting machine. I'll show you a couple of the system parameters that you can view. Starting with CPU info. Pause on that for a good second. And now I'm going to continue. If you want to read more, just continue to just pause the video. This is our free memory after running everything in kilobytes. And our file systems. As you can see, it's quite the interesting machine. I quite like it. Now we're going to shut it down. Now, as this computer is not ACPI compliant or anything like that, it won't shut itself off. You have to tell it to shut off by turning the power button on. Another interesting part about this computer is when you press the power button to turn it off, you'll hear it start beeping, and what it's doing is it's telling the hard disk to park before it actually turns the computer off. So, and here we see a very interesting and very rare kind of memory expansion. If I can get it out. Let me put the phone down real quick. I've got no effing clue what kind of RAM this is. It's 4 megabytes. This is what came out of my 1910 CS. When that thing died, I saved this because I was like, that's a very interesting form of RAM. I might need it someday. So, yeah, this whole big card is only 4 megabytes. I'll demonstrate some of the other features. Here we've got the battery, which is of course totally shot. Now, unlike conventional laptops, it's not a lithium-ion pack, it's a nickel metal hydride pack. Again, that goes to show how old this thing is. It's 12 volts at 2400 milliamp hours, if it still worked, but it doesn't. Then here's the PS2 ports, and here's the click port for the ballpoint mouse that I don't have. This machine was made in 1994. And here's the rest of our expansion ports. Just one VGA port, one parallel port, and one serial port. And then on this side you've got your power plug-in, a reset button, your power switch, and the release for the battery. All in all, interesting little machine. I personally love the hell out of it. And another interesting feature for ergonomics that they don't do on laptops these days is these little pegs will pop up and it will put the computer to slant, so it's easier to type on. Now, this is for ejecting the PC card. I also have a 14.4 modem, but that's somewhere else right now. Here it still has the warranty sticker with Toshiba's official model number for this, as well as the serial number, and it shows that the warranty expired in 12/14 of 1995. It contains nickel metal cadmium and nickel metal hydride and lithium ion batteries. This is the nickel metal hydride battery. There's a nickel cadmium battery for holding suspended data and RAM, because this computer is capable of self-suspending. And then the lithium battery runs the clock. And all of those batteries have unfortunately gone flat under a very proprietary design, which is going to make replacing them kinda tough. And here we have the barcodes and such and the information about the machine, calling it a t1910 200. So this machine's been through hell and back, and it still runs strong. This floppy drive is not the actual floppy drive for the computer. It came out of my CS, because the one that was in this when I got it was shot, and it didn't fit right because of the cables oriented differently, so you can't actually stick a disc in normally. You have to kind of have this magical foo where you push it in and then you grab and pull up the drive up with your fingernail to let that pop out. This also supports Toshiba's proprietary parallel port floppy drive, which I do not have. That will conclude this show. Thanks for watching. And hey, you might maybe see some other things. You know, I've got plenty of things I'd love to document, especially if people are willing to watch. Hey, leave a comment. What do you want to see next? An older iMac, maybe? How about my Commodore? And all sorts of stuff. So, have a good day.